We want to hear from you, Barrister Darlington Agoma. We need legal perspectives to this particular situation. His family insists that he was tried on a law that does not exist. What's your take on that?
This particular issue, I think I cannot completely say that there is no law that tried Nnamdi Kanu, because that Terrorism Prevention Act was clearly spelled out or was established in 2011 and was repealed in 2013 from 2011. And while the judgment was being read, it was spelled out. Look, when you repeal a law, it does not mean that that law has been abrogated. It doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. When you repeal a law, it means that you have expanded it, you have added something into what was there before. That was why it was repealed in 2013 and then 2022. So, and Nnamdi Kanu had been arrested before all this time. I don't understand what he's saying, that there is no law. You mean the level of insecurity in Nigeria does not require a law that will try those that were caught in the act? It's not possible now.
You mean the act of insecurity?
Yes.
Now, can you say that Nnamdi Kanu was arrested because, you know, he was kind of causing or inciting for us to have upheaval or insecurity in Nigeria?
You mean, you said what?
You said something about, you know, people who are saying that the law does not exist because it was repealed in 2013 and all that.
Yes, Nnamdi Kanu is holding on this particular law, that there is no law that should try. If he's talking of that of rendition, rendition is the word, rendition from Kenya. There is no law for us to try that because it's not even the idea in our statute book. That was what he was referring to. I can't believe that we don't have any terrorism act in Nigeria. Meanwhile, we have. It's there. So when he's saying that there is no law to try terrorism and all that, maybe he doesn't believe that he's a terrorist. Quite. Yes, you can argue that. But you are not the one to decide on your case. These are things the lawyer would have done to clarify the court. But he didn't allow his lawyers. That's the issue here. He didn't allow his lawyers. They are the ones who would have told the court all these things that we are now arguing. Maybe when we get to our appeal, things will become clearer and better. But I know there is terrorism acts in Nigeria under which he was tried. It's not possible for the federal government of Nigeria to try anybody without a law. It's not possible.
Right, let's take a look at what lawyer Ejimafor, you know, pointed today about the possible appeal of that particular judgment, given the fact that Nnamdi Kanu was signed to Sokoto. But Barrister, let's look at the jurisdiction aspect of it. You know, how legal is it for him to be moved from Abuja to Sokoto, knowing fully well that whatever thing that he has to do or the infraction the government think that he committed, you know, happens to be within the FCT and things that has to concern the government. So what role would jurisdiction play at this point? And also the fact that in the words of our lawyer Ejimafor, appealing this particular case might not really be, you know, effective from Sokoto because of jurisdiction.
Look, the question of where you will serve your sentence is immaterial. Every prison custodian center in Nigeria belongs to the federal government as of today. And so they can transfer you from one prison to the other. The prison is one. There is no law that says that if you are sentenced in Imo State, you cannot serve in Maiduguri.
So you're saying that the words of Ejimafor today, arguing that the Sokoto Division of the Court of Appeal has no jurisdiction over this case, you know, insisting that Abuja Division remains the proper venue.
No. The appeal can go on
while he's in Sokoto.
Exactly.
Let's look at the
because he's not even coming to court. on this particular matter, this appeal, he won't be in there, he won't be in court. His presence is not needed. Are you getting what I'm saying?
All right.
Whatever he committed or he was alleged to have committed was not even in Abuja, where he was tried in the first. So the jurisdiction here, I don't see how that would be a burden. The appeal can go on in Abuja while he's in Sokoto.
Now, why should we go on to try him and also rule or even have a judgment and push now to what we're looking at appellate court stepping into all of this, when you just say now that whatever infraction he committed was not even done, you know, in Nigeria to start with. So what role does jurisdiction have to play on this?
It's a federal offense now. That's why it was tried in federal high court. Federal. It can be anywhere. It's a federal offense.
All right, let's move away from Nnamdi Kanu's case, still talking about judicial matters here, where we learned that, you know, the Federal High Court in Abuja again adjourned the trials of Senator Natasha Akpoti on the alleged cybercrime, you know, case he has with the Senate President and Yahaya Bello, the former governor of her state, you know, postponing it till February 4, 2026. What does this portend in that case? Recall that Natasha, you know, made an interview. She granted an interview where she said that her life is being threatened, as she pointed to Senate President Abobio Goswell, directing some people to find a way to kill her and all that.
I am suspecting that at a point, that matter will die a natural death. You remember that the federal government had to sue Natasha. Meanwhile, this is a case between Natasha and Akpabio. All of a sudden, all the executive members came into the matter. Is it not so funny? Is there any law that says whenever the Senate President have any case with anybody, that any Vice President, Attorney General should get involved? Is there any? There's nothing like that. So this matter will eventually die at the end of the day, because I didn't see how these people got involved in this matter.
So you think that this postponement, the continuous shifting of the goalposts, is a deliberate action?
Of course. If they are serious, I mean, look at they would have done something before now. They just want the matter to die naturally.
But the question would be, to what end? We saw that the federal government also instituted a case against Senator Peter Nwebonyi, saying that he made grave allegations against, or he spoke ill of Senator Natasha Akpoti when he went on television to grant an interview talking about how she has different children for different men and how she is always accusing men of trying to sexually harass her. So who exactly is the federal government trying to protect in this case? Is this Senator Natasha Akpoti, who is an opposition senator, by the way? Is it Senate President Godswill Akpabio? So all these cases, if you believe it will die a natural death, then why did it get into court in the first place?
Yeah, this federal government is a busybody. They don't have something to do. That's why they got involved in a matter that does not concern them. And that's why I'm telling you that it will die a natural death eventually. Because when they ask them now, what is your own in this matter? What is your involvement? Did Natasha accuse the Attorney General, Shetima, the Vice President, or any SA? Did he accuse you of anything? She was specific about Akpabio. So why are you people involved?
So what then does this portend, you know, for the integrity of your judicial system?
Look,
because recall that just last 2 weeks or thereabout, the president knew, he said it out, that we're having some, you know, lapses or lack of trust within the NJC, that's the Nigerian National Judicial Council, and he urged them to uphold justice and also sharpen their integrity before the war. So what does this portend? Continuous shifting of the goalposts. Imagine the excuses that were getting to be the reason for the judge not to be there first, so that the judge was not there. The first time they shifted it was because of a protest scheduled by Omole Shore, and today the judge was in absence.
That is what happened when these people are not serious about any case. Continuous adjournment will wear everybody out, and eventually they will throw it out. That's the truth. They will throw it out. Nothing will come out of it. Because of what I've just told you now, the federal government will shoot themselves in the foot by the time this matter becomes an issue in court. When the trial proper starts, Natasha's lawyer will argue that they don't recognize these other persons. And that's the fact.
Why are we going to treat such case with Kid Glove. Barrister, we're looking at someone who came up to talk about her life being threatened. And she was so vocal to call names, cite occasions where the meetings were held and the directive being given and all that. So why should you treat such case?
It's going to be between her and Akpabio at the end of the day, if at all. Because Natasha may not prove this allegation with facts and all that. Because they say he who alleges must prove. How can she prove that somebody wants to assassinate her when the attempt was not made? It just made hearsay, maybe telephone conversation and all that. Is that what you are going to bring before the court? My question is, why did the federal government got involved? That's the issue here. Maybe by the time you get to court, you will now know that these people, they are just busybody. That's the truth. They would have allowed Akpabio to, answer for his own, for the allegation, instead of getting involved. And that getting involved is what is going to spoil the case. That is the truth.
It's quite unfortunate that we have to keep talking about these issues, but insecurity has become an even more obvious threat to Nigeria. In the past 1 week, it's literally been bad news every single day. Right now, we're getting reports that 5 police officers were killed in Bauchi State during a shootout with bandits. This is actually while they were trying to go about their own business, and then they were engaged in a gun duel with bandits in Darazo local government area. There have been different reports of herdsmen making inroads into several different communities in Nigeria, especially in the southwest. We saw someone coming out to say that the Kwara incident was just a test. They are testing the water, see how they can make their inroads into Ondo, Oyo, and even Lagos states. So our policemen are on the front line, they're getting murdered. Our military men are on the front line, they're getting murdered. And of course, Nigerians are feeling the heat. Again, we don't just want to talk about the problems because we know what the problem is. But solution, what is the solution? How do we go around this issue? The United States, a U.S. Congressman, Representative Riley Moore, I read yesterday that he gave 2 conditions for the U.S. to liaise with Nigeria in fighting the scourge of insecurity, one of which is the release of Sunday Jackson, who was sentenced to death for defending himself against a herdsman who came into his farm and tried to kill him. And the other is for the Nigerian government to write a comprehensive report on how they intend to tackle insecurity. So we are in a situation now where they're giving the Nigerian government assignments. Go and write a report and come and present it to us. Let's see that you are actually interested in fighting this. Also, during the U.S. Congress hearing on Nigeria's designation as a country of particular concern last week, one of the representatives there alleged that the president may be complicit, directly involved, or tolerating insecurity. How exactly can Nigeria convince the international community that it is indeed trying to protect its citizens if they do not act now?
In fact, this embarrassment is what you suffer when you have outsourced your sovereignty to criminals, to terrorists, because that's what it means. Are we not the one that invited these people into Nigeria? That one is a fact. It's a fact. Now, to ask them to go back is becoming a Herculean tax. And now, a foreign power is dictating to you what to do. Is that not losing your sovereignty? No, tell me. You see, this particular issue, you mentioned about solution. Please, is there any solution on earth that we have not proffered? The government of this country, the federal government, did they listen from Buhari to Tinubu? Is it not lip service they are paying? The 400 names that are the people sponsoring this thing, what have they done about it? Nothing. Have we not called for their prosecution? Nothing. And so, where do you think the bandits or terrorists are getting their impetus? Where are they getting arms? So the federal government, if they say it from America, it is true. The federal government of Nigeria is complicit in what is going on. They cannot deny it because action speaks louder than words. To make matters worse, a certain Gumi, look at the bandit he was telling us to make peace with, to talk to. Are they not the ones killing our security agents now, our police? Shooting the army, shooting the police. Meanwhile, the Oga, Gumi, because he told us that these are his boys, is now campaigning that we should give them what they want, as if we are owing them, as if we owe them a duty. Look, the level of arrogance and impunity is, in fact, is unimaginable. This is a man who cannot even enter Saudi Arabia today, but here, he's just behaving and talking as if we're nothing, you know, and the federal government is looking at him. The federal government, to tell you that something has gone wrong somewhere. A government that wants to solve a problem don't behave like this. You don't. Seriously, you don't. So this thing that America told them, go and beg me, they will not do it. They will find a way to be delaying, setting up one committee or the other, one panel or the other, you know, till 2027. They will find a way to delay this matter. They will not comply. But you know my happiness. Donald Trump said that since these people are not serious, that he will do it very quick and swift. He said it. That he will definitely come in and do it very quick and swift.
Barrister, some quotas have asked, how possible is it going to be for Nigeria to end the issue of insecurity, given the fact that the likes of Buba Galadima, when he granted another station, a sister station interview on the 15th of July, 2025, you know, he said something about how this whole beckoning on the late president, Muhammadu Buhari, to come back into power, and also to make sure that his sole aim is to propagate the free movement of freedom of the Fulani people and the land Fulani talk. It was against them trying to find a way to prevent the killing caused by OPC in the south, especially in Kwara State. How do you think we'll be able to curb or end the issue of insecurity when it has such connotation?
You mean Galadima is asking Buhari to come back to life? Or what? I don't
he said the reason that Buhari came into office in the first place was the fact that Obasanjo was using the OPC to suppress and to kill Fulani talk in the West, especially in Kwara State. And that was why they had to go back to a man who does not have interest in politics and persuade him and force him to come on board to help them and to make sure that the Fulani people will no longer suffer the pain that, according to him, the then government was throwing to them. So how are we going to end this? With the likes of, Terrify telling Nigerians that Kanu'S state government paid 1 billion naira to bandits for them to broker peace. And we also have seen how even a particular man in Niger, in Nasarawa state, whom the federal government denied granting bail in court on Tuesday, was discharged on Thursday, the following, I think 2 days after that, over the Mieti Allah procurement of arms and how they've been using it for some of their reasons.
You know, when you sleep on your right, anybody can trample on it. The Christian South have been so docile about their right, and so these people are now running riots all over Nigeria. Have we been retaliating what they are doing? No. Have we been asking questions or protesting? No. They have the monopoly of violence and they are now displaying it. That is why every one of them can talk anyhow. They can do anyhow. Yet you and I are keeping quiet. Have we reacted? We cannot react.
What would you rather have us do? The Cross River State government just yesterday, they banned them from passing through the state, repealed the license that was given to Mieti Allah cattle breeders and any herdsman. In fact, they don't want any herdsmen in their state anymore. Is this a step you are saying that every other person should take? Because on my way to work this very morning, I saw a herdsman on a bike with cane in his hand, leading 3 cows, walking on the pavement on Airport Road. That is when people, tourists, we are getting into dirty December, when tourists are coming into Nigeria, that is if they will come with all the state of bad news that we've been seeing, they will see cows passing through the road.
Express road for that matter.
If religious sentiment can be taken out of the equation, maybe we can make a headway. But you and I know very well that the major reason for this thing is what? Religious and tribal sentiment. That is what is fueling it. They believe that it is their right. And you and I have not challenged that right up to today. That is the issue.
He can say it was your right when we had their kinsman as the president of Nigeria. But what is happening now when we have a man who told Nigerians that he has no fear either for his political future or even the present or even anything, saying that his greatest fear is for Nigeria and Nigerians, for Nigeria not to fall into the wrong hands. He is not a Fulani stock. We have a president from the south who's supposed to champion, if not any other thing, security of lives and property, and also a good shun on the Futajorans who I think maybe they have monopoly of violence and who actually have seen measuring, according to what El Buba said, he said that 80% of the killings that we should blame the Mieti Allah group for it. Why are we not seeing the president doing something at this point?
Hold on. A man who could not protect his own wife, what are you expecting him to do for you? Answer me. All because of what? The religious sentiment. Is there any other thing? I mean, a man who has the authority and power could not protect his own wife and challenge somebody that is threatening to kill the wife. Is it you that will now protect? You know the answer. So these people, like I told you, we have not been reacting, the Christian folk. Look at how many of our youths, our girls that have been kidnapped now. Is there any Christian community, any Christian group, for whatever reason, that will do that kind of thing? And yet, somebody like Gumi is going about to talking rubbish. He's not even apologetical. He still believes that we owe the bandits a favor, that we owe them something. So when you hear all this, and the federal government is keeping quiet, please,